So the only time we ever have a problem, I've discovered, is when I want to do something and I don't want to do it at the exact same time. So I had this thought for a while ago, and just to let you know, when I think I see something and I figure it out, I usually test it for a whole year before telling anyone, because I really want to make sure that it's accurate, it's right on, right? So I've tested this out, I've seen it, I've been working with clients with it, and so now it's time to share it with you, right? The only time I ever have a problem is when I want to do something and I don't want to do it at the same time. Now, of course, that doesn't mean like a flat tire or something, right? That's the problem, is the flat tire. Okay, so there are other problems like that. But I mean in the things like I want to be more creative and I'm not doing it, right? Or I want to be married and I don't want to be married. Or I want to exercise more and I don't want to exercise more. So that's what I'm talking about. So let's explore. Let's start with the story, okay? So my wife has a friend over, Tracy. So they're visiting, and I've known her for years. Super cool, fun, good energy, positive, authentic person, great. So she's over at a house and talking. She's been over for like 2 hours. They're connecting, talking. I'm like, I come into the room, the living room, so I'm like part of it, not part of it. It's all good, wonderful. She's getting about ready to leave. She's been there, like I said, about 2 hours. And she comes up with like, I really want a boyfriend. I really want a boyfriend. I don't know why I don't have a boyfriend. I really want a boyfriend. And Amy goes, well, John sometimes coaches couples. Why don't you ask him? And so she turns towards me and she's like, well, what do you think? And I'm sitting there and I know inside my head, like numerous things are flashing through my head. One, she's been here already 2 hours. She's just about ready to go. She's already said she's going to be leaving. I don't have much time. Does she really want to get into this? So all this goes through in a split second, and I go to her, you don't want a boyfriend. She was like, what? And then she's like, yes, I do. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. And I listen nicely, and I go, and I don't normally ever do this, right? This was like, I've got 20 seconds. Are we going to do this conversation or not? And if she didn't want to, that would have been totally fine. That's all going through my head. And then she goes, all these reasons why. And I go, no, you don't. You don't want a boyfriend right now. Tell me all the reasons why you don't want a boyfriend right now. And she sat and she paused and she's like, you're right. I'm moving to Chicago in a month. Work is really intense. I'm wrapping up all these things. If I did meet a guy here in LA, what am I going to do? Tell him I'm moving in a month? Are we going to have a long distance relationship? Is he going to want to come to Chicago with me, but I've only known him for a month? That doesn't seem right. And she paused and she goes, you're right, I don't want a boyfriend right now. And that's the whole thing. She had a problem because she wanted a boyfriend and didn't want a boyfriend at the same time. Sometimes the not wanting or the wanting to do something is subconscious or a little bit out of the way. So let's explore that, how that can look with creativity and other things. One other little story, because stories are fun. Getting married, way before getting married. Amy and I are dating, and at one point early in a relationship, I'm like, I don't want a serious relationship. Yeah, you could say I'm a loser, right? Or I don't know what I'm doing, like what is she doing dating that type of guy, right? Or we could go a little deeper, and that's what I did at that time, was I sat back and I looked at my parents' marriage. And even though they've been married for 30 years, right? And there was never any yelling or fighting, physically fighting or anything. There was no drugs, no alcohol, right? But there was no love, not really, no fun, no holding hands, no laughter, no joking around, no teasing. Me and my siblings never said, oh, go get a room. So for me, marriage, which I hadn't really realized, was like a death trap. And so when proposed with that idea that I'd be having a serious relationship, I didn't want a serious relationship. I wanted a monogamous relationship, but I wanted to have fun. I didn't want a serious relationship. I didn't want things to get serious, because that's what I grew up in, and it was totally not fun at all. Okay? So once that surfaced, then I had the opportunity of going, oh, now I can consider marriage, but we're not going to do it the way that I thought it was supposed to be done, or it should be done, right? I'm going to do it, redefine it my way. It stepped out of the either or, right? So that's a good clue. So let's take a look at creativity and how that applies to creativity. People say, I want to be more creative, and then they're not creative, right? I want to do more writing, and I don't write. So what that often comes down to is a couple things, and I'm going to refer to my list to make sure I get them all. That it's often people have, and I've been working with people since 2005, sometimes they have something deep down inside themselves, creativity is a waste of time, right? They grew up with their parents, like frivolous, hobby, waste of time, you should be doing something more important, right? Then sometimes they have something like, I'm not good enough to do it. Well, if I'm not good enough to do something, then why would I go do it? Because it's not going to be good anyhow. So if that's underlying in there, that's like, that'd be like me trying to fly to the moon, right? If I know I'm not going to fly to the moon, I'm not going to go outside and jump up and down and try and get to the moon. That's ridiculous because it's not going to work, right? Another thing that sometimes is it's too much effort, it's too hard. Well, if it's too much effort and too hard, and I got some free time, why when I go to work and I have kids or I have this and this responsibility, why am I going to do something that's hard? It doesn't sound like fun. That sounds like a terrible way to spend some free time, some Sunday afternoon, right? Sometimes people talk about, I try and force myself to do it, right? And there's a whole other video on why do we rebel against creativity. But forcing doesn't work. I mean, it can work for a short amount of time. Just put your butt in the seat. That's what writers hear, right? Just put your butt. But that cuts off from creativity and inspiration. And again, it's not fun, not in the flow, not joyful. Why would I do that? And then why am I going to set myself up for a year or 2 years of doing that? That's just all terrible, right? So let's talk about creativity and how we can flip that, right? Remember, the only time I have a problem is when I want to do something and I don't want to do it at the same time. Then I have a problem. So here are 4 tips and mindset changes that often assist people with allowing themselves to be more creative and actually look forward to it. So when they say, I want to be more creative, these new thoughts, 4 of them, maybe 1 or 2, or maybe all 4 may assist you with being more creative, more productive, and actually enjoying the process, right? Because when we enjoy the process, whenever we enjoy anything, we want to do more of it. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about spiraling upward. That's what Let's Create Tuesday is all about, the online creativity group, where we talk about creativity and inspiration, we connect, and then we actually create during that time, and people come and do, writers and others and painters and drawers and everybody else, and then they're like, hey, this is fun, and then they do more. That's what we're shooting for, right? So one of the first is I'm learning how to be kind and gentle with myself as I start my creativity, right? Learn gentle, no more name calling, no more shoulding, no more, I'm being kind and gentle with myself as I start my creativity. That's a nice way to start. 1. 2, I realize when I'm creative, I have more energy and loving for myself and my loved ones. So what does this combat? It's being creative is not selfish. Some people are like, oh, I'm separating. Oh, I'm taking time away from other people. Oh, I'm putting myself more important than others. Being creative and on a regular basis is actually one of the best ways for me to take care of my family and my loved ones and even my clients. Why? Because when I'm creative, when I tap into my creativity and create whatever I'm up to, that taps me into energy, loving, positivity, excitement, enthusiasm, and then I naturally bring that to my kids. I naturally bring that to my wife. I naturally bring that to my clients or whatever else I'm doing. When I had a day job, I naturally become a better employee because I brought that, I filled myself up with that positive energy, that enthusiasm, the adventure, the joy, and so it wasn't selfish of me to do that. It was actually, my thought is, please, everyone on the planet, do 20 or 30 minutes a day, play guitar, write, dance, sing, paint, whatever, and then let's bring that positive, more joyful energy out into the world. We'll change the world. I personally think in like 4.3 days, all right, let's get on that. 3, a really good thought is to allow us to be more creative is, my first draft is not going to be perfect and that's okay. And when I say first draft, I know that's a writing term, but you understand what I'm talking about. The first time to do anything, first time to design the online course, the first whatever version of the song, the first business plan that you write up for the business you're starting. It's not going to be 100% perfect. You're going to tweak it. You're going to run it by other people. They're going to say, hey, what about this? You're like, oh, that's a great idea. So relax. Just know it's not going to be perfect. You write so you rewrite. You create so you can recreate. It's an adventure, right? I don't know everything. And that's the next one. We're moving into the next one is I don't have to know everything before I start. All right? I don't have to know everything before I start. I can discover the project, the goal, the dream as I go. And in fact, this is the real kicker. In fact, that's part of the adventure. So let's recap on how we can step back. So if I have a problem, the only time I have a problem is when I want to do something and I don't want to do it at the same time. First is go, maybe I want to do this and I don't want to do it at the same time. Okay, so if I have a problem, first question I can ask myself, maybe I want to do it, maybe I don't want to do it at the same time. Second is, why do I want to do this? Is it a calling? Is it an urge? Is it a heartfelt dream? Is it a desire? Or is it like an outside force acting on me? Society, parents, religion, culture, right? So now we get to start teasing out, like, why do I want to do this? And then we can ask the same question of if I don't want to do something, do I not want to do it because it doesn't feel right, that it's not for me, that this goes against who I am, my authentic self? Or do I not want to do this, or do I think I don't want to do it because my society, my parents, my religion, my culture is saying, you shouldn't do that. But actually I do want to do it. So there's an opportunity to slow down and start teasing out what's going on inside of myself. Why do I think I should do it? Why do I think I shouldn't do it? What do I really want to do? Do I really want to stop, or do I really want to do it? And slow that down, and then realize with the whole marriage thing, let's go back to the marriage example. Pull it back into the reality of a situation example. It's always helpful. It wasn't that I have to, if I'm going to get married, I'm going to have this terrible, non-talking, non-fun marriage. That's what I thought was the choice. Don't be married or have a lousy marriage, no fun, no real loving, no intimacy. That's what I thought the choice was. So when I was younger, my 20-something self had that choice. Well, of course I'm going to choose no marriage because the other one was terrible. As I became aware that I even had this choice running inside of me, then I was able to go, oh, that's not the choice. The choice is no marriage, or maybe I can create a marriage that I like, that is authentic, that is fun, that is joyful. Sure, 50% of marriages aren't doing so great out there, and probably more. Those are the ones ending in divorce. But that doesn't mean there's none, and maybe we'll be the first one, right, to have fun and grow and make a real true partnership. I don't believe that. But that's the choice, right? No marriage, or how do I create one that I really want? And that's the same with creativity, right? It's either I don't create, or how do I create with joy and fun and adventure? All right, all the best. Have a great day.